All right, man. Well, hey, welcome everybody to another episode of the Dumb Ass Film Students, where film students come together, or not even non-film students, and we just give our dumb ass opinions on films. Some that we like, some that we dislike. We even talk about the film industry. We talk about just shit that's going on dealing with movie making, putting the camera to it, directing it, writing it, and what we think about it. My name is Rudy Wilson at Willy Nilly if you're nasty on all social medias. We got my guy D.A. Henry here. What's up, brother?
Hello.
I forgot the social media, so I didn't shout it out. You can say it if you want to.
Oh, at DA_Henry.
He doesn't care. He got like 300 followers. He's not pushing it. So he's still on Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. So then we also got my man Chris Golden, Chris G Comedy. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
The surfer thumb.
Surfer, baby.
I'm good. And then, of course, every week we bring on a special guest, and this particular gentleman I met not too long ago. I actually met him randomly and not in a crazy way in an elevator. Just me and him, and he just kind of just spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? He was real energetic, real, approachable, and he just kind of approached me, and we just kind of just been saying what's up every time we see each other, linking up since then. Follow each other on social media, checking out each other's work. And this dude is dope, man. He's a filmmaker, Army veteran, such as myself, man. And I actually never really even knew his name until today. But we got Carlos Martin, but I call him King. So welcome, King, everybody.
What's good? Ghost in the building.
Ghost. So Carlos Martin, that's your full government.
Well, that's my real name, but my SAG name and my stage name and my brand is King Jaquell Martin. That's what I go by.
Gotcha. King Jaquell Martin. Gotcha. Dope. So we'll make sure we put that in the edit so they get that we'll call you by that. Dope, man. So hey, for one, man, thank you for coming. Appreciate you for joining us, man. I'm definitely glad to have you. So for just anybody who doesn't necessarily know you or may not have seen your work, just kind of explain like who you are, where you're from, give a rundown about just your film history and all that type of
stuff. Okay. Well, my name is King Jaquell Martin. I'm from heaven. Joke. From Benton Harbor, Michigan. Man, I've been acting a fool my whole life. I'm a military veteran. So I was wrongfully jumped in my military uniform, which allowed me to actually go after my dream and my passion, which was acting. From there, I met my friend Jeff, who played Tupac in the Death Row Chronicles, and he was like, yo, I'm going to NIFA for screenwriting. And so I'm like, yo, shoot, I'm going to go too. I just got done writing a book. I wrote this book called A War on Friendly Ground that's about police brutality and my experience that I had. When I got to NIFA, they told me how much I had to write for the screenwriting program, and I was like, nope, that's not me. And so I wound up going into the directing program, and so I love people as part of my passion, and since I act, I already know how to talk to actors, so the things went hand in hand, you know what I mean? I got some great ideas, so you guys get ready. I got some movies in the work. I just dropped Evolution of Slavery. I won the Equality International Film Festival, and so now I'm about to drop my new film called A War on Friendly Grounds, which is based off the book I
wrote. Nice.
Gotcha. And so just you don't have to get super deep into it, but like just kind of go a little more in depth about the situation when you got, I guess, wrongfully jumping. I don't know if it spoils the movie or whatever, but just like what was that whole experience like?
Crazy, man, because when you put on a uniform, you think that it's a badge of honor and that you're protecting your country, Right, but the funny thing about it is who protects you when you come back home from war? So we can go fight people who we don't know what they look like for the agenda of the flag. But then at the end of the day, when you come back home and you're here in America, who's here to protect you? So to make a long story short, I had just got back from Germany. I was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was on my way home. There was an officer in my neighborhood. I drove behind the officer. It was a noise violation that he claimed it happened, but I wasn't even home yet. So I was following behind him, and I was going.
I'm sorry to cut you off. This was on base, or this was not off base?
This was off base. This was like maybe three miles from the base. Okay. About 3 miles from the base. So this was not the MPs on post. This was the county police department.
Gotcha.
So the same officer who wound up beating me up is the same officer who beat that young lady up in the classroom at Spring Valley High School with the little girl sitting in the desk.
What?
Same cop.
Wow.
And so if they would have did the right thing the first time, he would have never had the opportunity to beat that little girl up the way he did in that class.
Right.
So to make a long story short, you know how parking lots are shaped like rectangles. So I followed him into the rectangle where I live. We acknowledged each other, you know, where I'm from. You say, "What's up?" By, you know, a little head nod or whatever else. In his police report, he took that as if he wrote I was teasing him by me bobbing my head, whatever that means. You know, it's all perspective, right?
Right.
So I park my car and get out. I walk towards the door and I see an officer running towards me. Hey, you, come here, come here. I'm like, who, me? He was like, I'm out here for a noise violation. And I was like, well, sir, it couldn't have been me. Mind you, I'm in my military uniform when all this is going down.
Right.
I said, it could have been me, sir. I just got home from work. He said, give me your license and registration. So I handed him my license and registration, and I handed him a paper license because I lost my picture license in Germany. So DMV gives you a paper license until you can get your picture license made, right? And so he was like, well, what the hell is this? And I was like, dude, if you would just calm down, you can see that I'm a soldier and I just got back from Germany. He was like, who the hell are you calling dude? I'm a Richland County officer of the law and you want to address me as dude. Wow. And I was like, well, you address me by hey you. He was like, well, that's because I don't know your name. Well, hell, I don't know your name either.
Right.
Slams me on the ground, starts welling on me, beating on me, punching me. The police officer's mother, who lived above me, sees the whole situation. She runs downstairs. She gets my ex-wife. She comes outside, you know, seeing me being beaten on, and she runs back into the house to get her cell phone to take pictures. Because this is 2005. Videos really wasn't that popular, right? So she takes a whole bunch of pictures of it. He admits to making all these racial statements on how he's glad Johnny Cochran's dead, how I'm nothing but another black statistic, he's gonna ruin my career, yada, yada, yada.
Wow.
He calls for backup. The officer's name was Benjamin Clark. He calls for backup. And so you would have thought I was Bin Laden or somebody, but how many police officers came out of the blue, right?
Wow.
So he said, get her, black ass, she has pictures of me. So they run up on my ex who was taking pictures, throws her in throws her into the car, the neighbor's car, handcuffs her and picks her up after she's handcuffed and detained and body slams her into the ground face first. Sexually harasses her. They put us in the back of the cop car. We asked for the pictures back, and he was like, he'll give me the pictures back. He'll give me my phone back if I delete all the pictures. I'm like, hell no, that's our evidence. So they put us in the back of the paddy wagon. We go downtown to the precinct, get fingerprinted and all that type of stuff. I go back to the military and I tell the military what happened to me. But you know, in America, they say you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but that's not how it works.
Right.
So the Army turned their back on me. I got blackballed by the military, went to the NAACP to ask them for help. They asked me how much money was I donating, Rainbow Push. It was just crazy. So it took me, what, 4 years to get to court, and once they found out I was not guilty, then all of a sudden it was like, uh-oh, we messed up. Wind up getting discharged out the military. They tried to give me a 0%. I went to the post general because I told them I wrote President Obama about my situation. Wind up getting a 70% retirement, which they knocked down back to 35%. And now just in 2015, I just got my 100% retirement. So I'm still fighting to get my retirement, you know, from the military. So my case is sitting at the United States Supreme Court. I went to court for the criminal trial, was found not guilty on all, for everything. And the crazy thing about it is we go to the civil suit, and in the civil suit, they played a little game of conquer and divide. I wasn't allowed to be a part of my wife's case. I don't know how. That if she came out to protect me, then I can't be involved in her case.
Right.
They said she was too close when she took the pictures, so they threw her case out. And my lawyer tricked me by saying if I drop the assault charges, that I will be able to sue on multiple charges or whatever else. So because I'm young and dumb and don't know the law, I signed the paperwork. They dismissed my case, and now it's sitting at the United States Supreme Court.
Wow. And all of this is in the book as well as the film?
All that is in the book, but the film is about that day, particularly what happened that day. And, you know, we put a nice little narrative story together for it to be something therapeutic, something that everyone can learn from, and that way people could see the reality up close and personal instead of it just being, you know, all these other situations that we're seeing on Facebook. You know what I mean? Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will say one thing, man. Well, thank God you definitely made it out of there alive. You know what I'm saying? To still be able to fight it. So that's one, you know, I guess positive out of the whole situation, even though it's completely fucked up. But
yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. Seeing that George and seeing Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, all these other people's situation, man, it's like survivor's guilt that I have. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why did he spare me? But I feel like God spared me so I could tell the story for those who don't have that opportunity for the voices. You know?
For sure. And there's other survivors that we don't know about, you know what I'm saying? But because obviously the ones who don't survive is the bigger narrative. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say you shouldn't, have the guilt or whatever, because it'll be you and others still here to be like, I did survive, but because I was done wrong to survive, I can still fight it, as opposed to the people who died from it. We just trying to embark on their behalf.
Right.
Whatever case
Hopefully this movie will spark like a Me Too type of movement where other people can say that they were beat too, and they come out and we're all able to tell our story, because at the end of the day, it's only one race, and it's our job to protect it for the future, so that way they have a better future than what we have.
Yeah, and that's crazy that, and the key thing is, which I know is why you even mentioned it the way that you did, is that it's not that like he beat you up and then found out later you was in the military. Like, this happened in uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like, this happened in uniform. It's not even like he happened to see an ID that could have been, expired and nothing like that. Like, you're currently serving active duty, whatever case may be, and he's just like, and the boldness for him to still be like, yeah, but I am who I am, and I'm still whatever. So that's crazy.
And the crazy part about it is, like, a lot of white people want to say, well, what can we do? How can we help? Just continue to show up. Continue to use your voice. Continue to use your platform. Continue to speak out. Because at the end of the day, when it came to slavery, Black people never freed Black people. It took the whole color of the rainbow for us to be able to have the freedoms that we have. And I know this might sound crazy, and I don't want to offend no one, but I feel like we could follow, as Black people, we could kind of follow the blueprint from the LGBT community, because they've been persecuted, they've been hate on, but they got together, they united, they put their money together, they came up with laws, they protected themselves. So I feel like we could follow the same blueprint for equality.
Them motherfuckers strong right now. You hear me? You can't listen. They done came up. You cannot fuck with the LGBTQ community in no shape, form, or fashion, bro. Like, you dead ass right. Like, whatever they did, we need to follow them. They came up strong. Like, it used to be picked on and ashamed and all that back in the day, but now, like, I dare you to open your mouth publicly and try to.
They'll take you out. They will take you out to the ball game. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And sometimes it's sad. Like, they had what was that, Central Park Karen, who was choking the hell out of that dog. You know what I mean? But more people was concerned about the dog than they actually was when she was actually putting that Black man's life at stake. Right. Because he could have been George. He could have been any of these other people who lost their lives.
Right.
And knowing that you have that type of privilege and knowing that you have that type of power, that's how Emmett Till lost his life.
Right.
Right. And that's really how it always happens. Like it's always a white person calling the police on a Black person. They don't realize the consequences that or the possibilities of what could happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't, because their interactions with the police, they don't think of it as this is a life or death, like I'm at risk situation.
Right.
They just trying to get rid of the ruckus in their neighborhood. It's always for a dumb reason too. Like,
the funny thing about it is, like, my girlfriend's brother came here to stay with us for before COVID happened, and he's been here for a while, right? He's 16 years old, and he's downstairs dribbling a basketball. Ain't nothing to do during COVID, but he's just trying to get right for the season start.
Right.
My apartment manager is Spanish, and she called the police on him. Wow. And I had to go out to talk to the police. And thank God they were good cops, because not all cops are bad cops. They were good cops. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I had to talk them down, like, hey, he's just playing ball. He's not doing anything wrong. What are we supposed to do during COVID? No one can go anywhere, so he has to do something with his youth for energy. They said they went and talked to the apartment manager and told her how wrong she was for calling. They drove off and they apologized to me about coming out here, right? She could not understand why I was so furious with her. I'm like, you just put his life in jeopardy, because it didn't have to be that type of cop to show up. Right. That situation could have totally went down totally different. You know what I mean? And you won't have to understand how we have to prepare, how we have to wake up, how we have to prepare our brothers, our sisters, our children, our family before we go outside, because our perspective of the world and the lens that we have to look through is totally different than yours.
Right. And it's all about fear, right? Like, I feel like a lot of those situations, white people are afraid to have an interaction or a conversation with a person of color. So instead of having a conversation and just, sorting out the situation, like your landlord could have had a simple conversation if she felt some type of way, they would rather call the police and have them sort it out, and that's not how it's supposed to go. And you're wasting the police time, and you're putting people in danger.
This is what's so dope, right? Because I didn't know that we were going to wind up going here in this conversation, right? But as content creators, it's our responsibility to showcase us in different lights. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with the powers. There's nothing wrong with the empires. But we are so much more than that, because when our content goes out to the world as filmmakers, people believe that's who we really are. So when you have other cultures that come to America and then they see us, they think we are a reflection of power. They think we are a reflection of empire. They think we are a reflection of all these different shows, but we are so much more than that. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that content, but where's our Cosby shows? Where's our different worlds? Where's our friends? Where's the content that we can create to show that Rudy's an amazing comedian? He's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Where's our content to show Daryl and Chris in light of, these are just men growing up through the struggle to become what they want to become? Where are those things to show the kings that we are, or the queens that we are? Especially when it comes to Black women as well. Because if they're not sleeping with a white man, twerking in a video, or, having an attitude, you really don't get to see them.
Right.
When do they get depicted as the soft, beautiful queen that they are in a film or in a picture, or the loving wife? And I feel like as content creators, it's our responsibility to showcase that side too.
Right.
And nobody else will. Nobody else is going to do it.
Nah. And not at least not in an honest light, because I don't like those movies like 12 Years a Slave, or just certain things that are supposed to depict Black people and suffering, but it comes from like a white guilt perspective. Like, I don't want that perspective, man. Like, I don't need that.
Well, let me bring us into a film I think that did a poor job of honoring a Black perspective.
Oh God, yes. Jesus Christ.
Which was
speaking of making everyone a gangbanger, Jesus.
Somebody who did not follow the mold of what the fuck John Henry was even the fuck about.
That should have been a movie about Jackson Mortal Kombat or something. Like, they could have. It just was.
Let's go ahead and get into our movies. And I think this is even appropriate to transition from what we're talking about. John Henry. We seen it. That was actually suggested by our guest, King, and
it was number 2 on Netflix. Number two.
It
was trending number 2 on Netflix. And prior to you even mentioning it to me, I had already heard like different people call in, because I listen to the radio, whatever. Different people call in and mention like, "Yo, have y'all seen this movie John Henry with Ludacris and Terry Crews?"
This movie is problematic on so many levels. I ain't even. Nah, go ahead.
So when I heard about it through that light, I was just like, dang, man, this is going to be trash. So I was already in my mind thinking about checking it out on some random time. So then when you mentioned it, I'm just like, okay, like let me go. I watched it immediately. Like, not too long after you mentioned, like I watched it immediately, and I definitely have some thoughts. I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let you guys go first. And so we'll start with our guest, King. So you did suggest this movie, and then you told me when you suggested it that it wasn't for a good reason. So you go ahead, man. What was your thoughts about John Henry?
First and foremost, shout out to completing the project.
For sure.
I think sometimes we as filmmakers, we miss out on the fact that you can say what you want, but it's completed. You know what I mean? Sure. You can talk bad about it. We can say all these different type of things, but at the end of the day, while you sit in the crowd, I'm getting things done.
For sure.
Right? Okay. I feel like it had a great storyline in the beginning when they were talking about John Henry having strong hands. Mm-hmm. And it made me more intrigued into the character. Like, what are you gonna do when you grow up with these strong hands? Mm-hmm. So at first I'm like, is he a slave? Does he have superpowers?
Right.
What's going on? And then it took a turn. Because it didn't have nothing. I really didn't get to see him use his hands. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Terry Crews's character, and shout out to Terry Crews for having an amazing career, for standing up during the Me Too movement. I felt like, did he because of what he stood up for, is his selection smaller of choice? Because sometimes when you take a stand for things, you know, they put you in a certain lane or a certain box of opportunities. So maybe he just did it because the opportunity was there. You know what I mean? Because of him standing up for Me Too. And thank you for having the courage to do
just to counter what you're just saying, that may be correct, but even more so on just him not being able to get work and having to go out and do something on his own, because he executive produced it. And so he backed that movie. It's not even like he just got casted for it.
Yeah.
Like because even not to go too deep into it, but even if you look at the opening credit sequence, there was no Universal or whatever like that coming up. It was like everything that was named belonged to somebody personal on that film. Like we didn't know, you know, who it was. So like he backed that film. Like he was like, yo, I'm a star in this and EP it. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But go ahead.
His dad's character, my dick is a legend. I don't know why that had to be the theme throughout the whole the film for that character's description. I really didn't get it.
Right.
I didn't get why Ludacris had a metal jaw. Did Terry Crews punch them when they were children, and that's how he wound up getting the character Hell got the metal jaw?
Well, it was supposed to be from the gunshot. Remember when he tried to hand him the gun and the gun went off? That was supposed to be the accident. I guess somehow maybe he got shot in the face or whatever.
Oh, I never connected that.
Yeah. It was
the napkin when he put
the yeah.
You know what? It inspired me. I'll say that. It inspired me to know that I could put out a project, bro. It made me want to make sure that I get my
it's like watching a really bad open micer. You're like, I can do comedy. Yeah, this is easy.
Oh I felt like it was a knife movie. Oh my.
It's a knife movie.
The knife, the stunts, when he hit the wood and then all of a sudden the wood flies into the dude's neck out of nowhere. And then he pulls it out and the blood just goes everywhere. I thought he had superpowers when he was going against Hell, and then and Ludacris brings out the gun and he just starts shooting him.
Right.
And he falls to the ground.
Yo, it was
It's bad.
It's pretty questionable. It's pretty questionable.
Anybody else? Because I'm trying to be nice.
So, go ahead, Chris.
It's the reason why the Oscars are all white.
Yeah, because for some reason, with black movies, all everybody got to do is just show up to work, and you motherfuckers will just watch it. Number 2, baby. Like, if this shit was in the theaters, it would have made money. That's the problem. Like, that's why Tyler Perry is popping. I don't give a fuck how much you love Tyler Perry, Rudy. All right? He's got some goddamn pieces of shit that made lots of money, man, because y'all will just show up, man. Like, y'all will go and support. And I love that. We should be supporting black films, but it should also just be like a standard of fucking, like, quality, man. Like, everything about this movie sucked, man. Like, seriously, like, bro, everything was a boring ass medium shot. There was like nothing interesting going on directorial wise. It was like a hood book put to movie, and it was like everybody's dialogue was not believable. Like, bro, like it's just everything was dumb. He's like, hey, look, man, I understand you're a little shaky about your first body, but look, you're gonna kill more people, and this shit never ends. There's no way out. I was like, what? I just don't understand this character. Does he care about him or not? I'm sorry, what?
I said, what about when the dad had the miracle? He stood up out the wheelchair out of the booth. He was handicapped.
My nigga, that dude looks like he needs breathing tubes in real life, and they just rid it into his character. What the fuck is he still doing in movies? Fuck that guy. I mean, it was like he looked old in The Devil's Rejects. Like, stop making movies with that guy. Fuck, he sucks. Everybody sucked in this film. Ludacris, say nigga. Fuck out of here. Had the lamest fucking villain lines I've ever heard in the movie. Nigga had a metal jaw. And yeah, I didn't connect the whole shit you said either with the metal jaw. I just thought he had a metal jaw. Everything was just convoluted and like, I don't know. There's not enough bad shit I could say about this movie. I'd rather just sit here and smoke. So I'm gonna just pass it to DA.
Gotcha. Hey, Chris, turn either your headphones or something down. You clear, but you loud.
Okay, I got you. Hold up.
So what I will say is this. I'm going to start off with giving them credit, and I'll give credit for this. The one thing that I will say that I noticed that was good about the film was, and this actually disagrees with one thing that you said, Chris, which was the shots. I think that they definitely, not necessarily entire movie start to finish, whatever, but there were definitely certain shots that happened in that movie where I was like, yo, whoever this DP is, like, he's better than the crew he's working for. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And he doing them a favor. You know what I'm saying? Because, like,
Right.
Do you remember the shot when the Spanish girl was in the bathroom and she opened the bathroom mirror and then to show the reflection going past to indicate somebody was there at the house? Even just something like that, I thought that was dope. And granted, when she
That's been done a lot of times before, but yeah.
When she you didn't see it in a movie like fucking John Henry, nigga. Like John Henry is low budget.
A dumb movie? You're right. I haven't seen that in a dumb movie.
It's not well put together.
Yeah, that's something new.
Saying, like, when I'm watching this movie, there's no, like, that movie would have still been the way it was without that shot. But what I'm saying is, whoever that either camera operator or DP was, they were like, yo, this would be dope. Let's at least make this some type of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because the story itself and other things are definitely lacking. We can create some good shots that at least make it, watchable. So I definitely would give whoever that person was, I didn't even look at the credits, but whoever that person was, shout out to them. And like you said, King, shout out to them getting it done. But when you do get it done, and then you put it for the public eye, you definitely have to take whatever response it gets, good, bad, or indifferent.
Like craft-wise, like he said, you got to respect the craft.
Right. And it had, and so to even go to something that you said about Tyler Perry. See, I'm not here to defend Tyler Perry, but you don't like Tyler Perry, Chris, because you don't like the type of stories he makes. But nobody can deny the fact that Listen. Whatever stories he's making, they make sense. Whether it's a chick flick or whatever, she cheated on whoever, whatever. Like, you're showing up for that. Like, but it's not like it's just like, yo, what the fuck did we just watch? At the end of John Henry, first of all, besides him being a big ass black dude and eventually getting a sledgehammer at the end, that's the only correlation that I got to the actual story of who John Henry was.
But I didn't get the sledgehammer because I thought it was about his hands, and he had strong hands.
Going back to that, so my whole thing is, if he out here dropping it, because it's not even like he shot somebody and then wanted to go to fight. Like, he beat somebody with his hands and then pulled back from hurting people. So apparently these was supposed to be some things. We never got to see these again. You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga was just busting holes in walls and peeking through them, looking through them, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he clipping legs. Huh?
Where's Johnny?
Right. He clipping legs from the back and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was even inconsistency, even with the girl who speaks Spanish. Like, some moments she don't understand English at all. There's some moments you can speak English and then she gets it. I'm just like, no, does she speak English or not? Like, what? Where is this all? Where is this going? You know what I'm saying? And then
the bats are white. The bats are goddamn white bats.
Right. And then on top of that, they didn't even give you the subtitles for the Spanish. And I thought maybe they did. I thought maybe they was going to do that because since John Henry didn't know what they were saying, they wanted to keep the audience from it and then maybe reveal something at the end. We never knew what the fuck they ever said. They just kept speaking Spanish, no subtitles, and just kept going. Like, it's just like, anybody who don't speak Spanish, like, you just lost. That's just it. Like, you just don't know.
You know what it could have been? The movie could have been about basically, well, it could have been Terry Crews trying to step out of his comfort zone because usually Terry Crews has never really been a main character in a movie. He's never been a leading.
But it had nothing to do with him being the lead. It had nothing to do with.
I'm saying that movie. It's like a stepping stone. Actors have to use stepping stones to get other roles that they want. But it
Well,
just
but he once again he funded this movie. He helped fund this movie, so this wasn't even about just a role. Like he believed in this project, and I do agree that. And I'll say this, and I'll open the floor back to y'all. I do agree that this was a step out of my comfort zone in the sense of like, let me show the type of art I want to make, because this is the John Henry story, but this shit is like in Compton on some street shit that that one nigga, like we got two killer cousins. Neither one of them use guns. One uses a blowtorch and the other one uses a sledgehammer. And they are the baddest niggas in the neighborhood. It's like what? And everybody else got guns, but they never take these two motherfuckers out. Like, what is this? What are we even talking about right now? This is in Compton, and you got big country John Henry, and then they got the girl who I'm thinking this is gonna be the love interest. She only showed up twice in the movie. She showed up in the store that one time, and then came like it was just like it was too inconsistent.
What about the girl that shoot hell, who had the blood perfectly over her face?
Right, she had the raccoon eyes. Like it was supposed to be blood splattered on her. And then the very next scene when she pops up, it's like perfectly painted, like war paint on her face, like just like straight up, like she just going through. I'm just like, yo, like, come on, man. Y'all obviously shot this on 2 different days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but when you have some inconsistencies, you have to lessen them so that it's just not just a consistent.
Wait. What about the auto tunes that they used for the voice when they was introducing the villain?
Right. What was that? Like what was that? I don't know. Chris, you got anything else about John Henry? I don't.
The only thing Carlos, you owe me an hour and a half. That's about it. Of life.
I don't know.
I don't know how we're gonna figure out what that means in dollars, but we're gonna sort that out.
Are we going to Beach Bum next? Because I mean that hour and a half was.
Wait. What I did was I inspired that you
Fuck
can
you,
get project and be number 2 on Netflix.
Right.
We missed the point of the movie.
We supported the fuck out of the film. So let me ask you this before we move on. You just real quick, like, what did y'all think about like Terry Crews's performance specifically, like his actual performance? Like, what did y'all think?
Garbage, like always. He sucks. Like I don't understand. He got his dick touched a couple times and made it to the top, and now we see that he's just garbage, man. I've always thought he was garbage. That's it. Yeah, hate me. I don't care.
Well, for one, he does good in the roles he normally plays. When he's like the big funny guy.
White Chicks. He was hella funny in White Chicks.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, White Chicks, The Longest Yard, next after next. He was funny. When he was big funny dude.
First of all, I don't like White Chicks. That's a bad movie. Okay, it's very bad movie. Yeah, everybody recoil. Wow. Listen, black people, it's a bad movie. If there's black people watching this, listen. Open your eyes. Okay, watch it again. all of the comedy of the movie is literally I'm dressed up like a chick and / Terry Crews wants to fuck me. A giant black man wants to fuck me. It's half of the humor of the movie. Okay, I'm good.
Bro, you just don't connect with it because it was imitating your sister and your mom. He was like, yo,
I don't care.
I don't agree with this shit. All right, y'all not gonna be making fun of my.
Wait, we're not going. First of all, Terry Crews is a good actor. We're not going to do Terry like that. We're not going to sit up here and say Terry Crews is a horrible actor.
I understand. He's your older brother. I didn't mean it. But listen. Fuck.
All right, so King, what did you think about his performance?
I fuck with Terry Crews. I don't think this was his best performance. I mean, it's hard to make a bad script good.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was just a bad script.
Yeah.
Or it was just a bad movie. A good script. Because think about it. He probably
all encompassing bad.
Like, oh, I actually like this script, and then he funded it, and then the director just made some.
Yeah, but to have a good script, you have to have a good story. If you're talking about John Henry's hands, and he really never uses his hands through the whole script, it's hard to put that whole story together.
What happened to the damn steam engine? Who was that? Ludacris?
Right.
I don't get it.
Because he died at the end. Like, what was that? Like, he swings the hammer, kills Ludacris, and then drops dead as if that was the people.
Because in John Henry, he dies at the end.
I know. That's my whole point. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get
what is the point of the film?
Huh?
what is the point of the film?
That's my. I don't. That's
the point of the film is to take your money. They won.
I mean, yeah, it's on
Take
Netflix.
your time and your money.
We didn't pay for it specifically, but
they didn't take our money. They took Netflix's money, and you know what? It's fine.
But
I don't give a shit.
I thought about.
I hope them niggas is rich now.
When he died at the end, because I thought they had just went ahead and abandoned the whole steam engine story. So when he died at the end, and that was supposed to be representation of the steam engine, I was just like, yo, this was stupid. It was almost reminding me of like when Napoleon Dynamite ends and they just playing tetherball back and forth, and it's just like, yo, what the fuck just happened throughout this whole movie? Like, where do we even go? So yeah, that's that. All right, so DA, I guess we can start off with you since you obviously wasn't fucking with Beach Bum.
It's not like it was a bad movie. It just was actually the hour and a half. I really didn't notice the time going by. But
well, first of all, pause real quick. Just a suggestion. I think when we move into a movie, because nobody really knew, you just said Beach Bum went right into it. We just say Beach Bum, Matthew McConaughey, Jonah Hill came out in 2018, I believe.
We're not going to get into details about the movie you picked.
We are. Because I don't like how you're already disrespecting the movie. We
do that for nobody else shit, okay? Beach Bum. Google it. You can
well, John Henry didn't deserve any of that.
We're not worried about that. What I'm saying is, we're talking about Beach Bum now.
Go ahead, DA. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's defense. I love this movie. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not like the. It's not
Wait,
like
you Beach Bum and you hate white chicks?
It's not like the hour.
Yeah, one of them was an actual good film. But I'm sorry, DA.
It's not like the hour and a half I spent was super slow. It's just because the movie did fly. First 20 minutes, I hardly noticed the first 20 minutes. So the whole movie, it was flying. But the story really didn't make sense. I mean, if this is what Florida is like, I don't want to go to Florida.
It is, baby.
I do not want to go, because this dude was basically cheating on his wife. Then he got sad that his wife was cheating on him. Then
he wasn't cheating. She knows what he's doing. She was cheating. What do you mean? Did you watch the film?
Okay, so why did
They're free, baby?
Why did he get emotional?
I don't know why I'm rebelling.
Snoop Dogg, who, first of all, why was Snoop Dogg in this movie? When he saw Snoop Dogg kissing his wife, he's like, oh, I knew about it. Oh, you knew about it. Oh, then pretty much the whole, I guess about the midpoint is when the wife died. It felt like the midpoint. The whole beginning was minutes. And then he has to go basically finish writing his book to get his money, which he burns. I understand why he burned it. At least I can infer why he burned it, but it was a weird hour and a half.
Okay. That's all right. Well,
did you enjoy the weird hour and a half, or is that like a bad weird hour?
I mean, there were good parts, but honestly, it was just a bunch of sex and weed.
So ultimately, what you're saying is that there were certain things you liked about it, but you just didn't get the movie, like the story.
It just was like, yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, it was
okay.
It was it wasn't like the movie was bad. It just wasn't
good.
What I would say was good. It was okay. It was all right.
I got you.
Right.
All right, King, what you got? What you thought about Beach Bum?
It was interesting. I get the fact that the whole point was to be free and live life and have no worries. You know what I mean? And just try to make the best out of the life that you have. I thought certain parts of the storyline was problematic. You know, the escape from rehab, the relationship with the daughter. I understand that you have couples that are open and they don't care who they have sex with, whatever. So I kind of felt like they had that, but he did have a weird moment of, when he realized who it was, but then they wind up being cool and carrying on. Most people can't handle things like that. I couldn't live that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I did get the metaphor that his life really wasn't about the money, and that's why he burned it at the end, because he just wants to be free and he wants to be open and he wants to be different than everyone. But at the same time, it's a contrast of why he was busting his butt to write the book to get the money, you know? Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt like that was just, you know, on two opposite ends. I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it to watch it. But this is probably one of those movies that you gotta watch high or something. That's probably funny as shit, high as hell. You know
for sure.
And when somebody suggested it.
Wait, yeah. Chris looks so mad right now.
I'm fine.
He's like waiting for my turn. I can't wait to get him back.
I didn't get the, you know, no disrespect, but I didn't get the women's clothes throughout the whole journey of why he was rocking them with the women's clothes or whatever. I mean, that's his thing. Snoop is Snoop in every film. You know what I mean?
Snoop was him. He could have just called himself Snoop and just got it over with.
Right. I didn't know why they didn't just he should have just been Snoop Dogg. That would have been better to me.
Yeah. So I
lingerie.
Yeah, I didn't understand. And you know, he probably wrote that song. Do you got a fresh pair of panties on after this movie? Y'all ain't never heard that song. Yeah, Snoop has a song. Do you have a fresh pair of panties on?
Oh yeah, no, I just didn't hear what you said. Yeah.
You know, from lingerie. So he probably came up with that song after that. You know,
right?
But, he made his character.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It ain't something I'm about to take my time to go watch again and nothing like that. But it's cool for what it was.
Right. Dope. Okay, well, Chris, go ahead, man. Go ahead and go deep, man. Give us your defense.
All right. Well, when I saw this movie, first of all, I related to this movie on a very, very deep level because one, as Rudy knows, anybody that knows me, I live exactly like this main character. Like, and people know me. There's no structure to my life. Like, I've been out here in this world since I was 16.
Not to cut you off, but your face is kind of dark. Show your face more. Like, turn towards the light. Like behind.
All right, I bet. So yeah, I've been out in this world for a long time, just rolling around, meeting people, getting in adventures, living like a real hippie, man. And when I came to Florida, I really felt at home. It really matched that sort of Zen vibe. Like everybody down there is into meditation. Everybody's not just body and mind. People are real into the spirit down there. And when he talks in the movie, when they're interviewing him for when he finally finishes the book, that's the real message of the film, right? It's like all these people racing to the red light, stressed out, when, everything you need is right here all the time. You can be happy and be in bliss in any moment. Look in the movie. Every single moment of the movie, he's just doing whatever the hell he wants. He's sitting on a bench with a beer on his fucking knee, with a cat that he just met. Throughout the entire movie, he is having a great time. And he's also spreading love and joy and good feelings to other people. That's why the universe is sustaining him. And then also he has a purpose though, right? Because I feel like there's a yin and yang to life. Like one, there's enjoying life and not stressing out and being good vibes. But also there's work and there's doing what needs to be done. So he got kind of too lost in the other side of the yin. And his wife, with her last dying, with the plan she had in her will, she's like, listen, if you're going to keep living like this, you have to write this book, because she knew he was brilliant. He's a genius. He has all these things that can be put in this book that can help all these people. He has to fulfill that grand purpose. So the movie is about balance, and it's also just about loving life and living in the moment, man, because this shit ain't free, man. It's this shit can be taken away at any time. Life is a privilege, man, so just enjoy it. That's my thoughts on the film. And then also just one more quick thing. The movie was shot fucking beautifully, okay? I don't give a fuck what you guys say. The same guy that made this made Spring Breakers. He worked on the movie Kids. I love his films. They're very divisive. A lot of people either love or hate them. But I love his style of showing a scene, and then now you cut to another scene, but he's still narrating the last scene. But this scene, I love the montage style. It's very, very dope. And it really feels like if you watch this movie on acid or really, really high, the movie really, really flows and makes a lot more sense. Matthew McConaughey's performance was fucking phenomenal. I did not see Matthew McConaughey on the screen. I just seen this completely different hippie character. A couple of other performances were a little weak. I honestly didn't like Jonah Hill in this movie that much. He was funny a couple times, but I just didn't believe him. This accent was phony as fuck. But I love Matthew McConaughey. I love the directing, and that's all I have to say. I love this movie. It's A+ for me. It's one of my favorite
I
films.
do agree about the message. I thought the message after he wound up writing the book and getting the award, I thought the message was fire. I did enjoy that about living life because you're right. We're only here for a moment, you know what I mean? And not stressing over every single thing and just enjoying it. I do agree about fulfilling the purpose. So I do like those two moments about the film, you know what I mean? So I do agree with you on that.
Even the daughter said that he was brilliant, and I think the daughter the biggest change in the movie, because it was kind of like she was trying to get away from her dad because she thought he was a fuck up as well.
Right.
But she admitted to her husband, who she just married, she was like, the guy's brilliant, the guy's great, better than you would ever be.
Right, you'll probably never be great. That's hilarious.
And then at the end, I mean, they get a divorce and everything. So,
but the key thing that the daughter said though, she was basically, you're dependable. Right. That's why I wanted to.
Yeah.
She wanted the opposite of the dad because she knew that he was dependable, but she already knew that he would never reach the great heights that her dad's able to reach because he's free.
Right.
That's real.
I like the message of the movie. Some of the stylistic approaches to not the shooting, but the story wise, it was just.
This is one thing too. Before we go to Rudy, a lot of people didn't like the part that when his wife died. Right. First of all, I love that montage scene before she died when they're singing that song.
Yeah,
it was dope.
Great. That was
great. And it really showed you that scene because first you're confused because you're like, yo, she's fucking this guy, he's fucking chicks, what's going on? But when you see that montage, you're like, oh, they're really, really deeply in love. Like, wow. Like, their love's so strong, they can do whatever they want. Fuck other people, they still really, really love each other. And then right after that, they take her away, right? And you as an audience member are heartbroken. Like, when she passes and the machine beeps, you're like, oh, no. He takes it so in stride. Like, you see the scene where he's sitting there drinking next to her grave. Like, he's obviously sad. But that scene shows you literally that Moondog is not faking it. He's not one of these fake hippies out here. He's the real deal. Nothing can break his attitude or his spirit. That shit just shows throughout the movie, no matter what consequence happens. A lot of people complain about that. Like, oh, there's no conflict in the movie. It's not that there's no conflict. It's just that the character, that's how he addresses conflict. It doesn't affect him. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so what I would say about this movie, for me, and it makes sense. It makes sense even when DA was saying that he wouldn't want to go to Florida. Because for one, that was not only in Florida, that was in the Miami area, specifically between Miami and Key West. And I haven't been down to the Keys. And if you don't know about the Keys is basically just some, I don't even know, what do you call it? It's like I don't know. I don't even know if they're cities. It's the only thing south of Miami before you now just are no longer in Florida. You're now in the water going towards whatever islands and countries out there. Like it's just it's just nice areas, whatever. It's several of them, Key West, whatever, different keys, whatever. So anyways, but being the fact that I lived in Miami and have been friends with Chris, for some time now, not even trying to say this to be funny, but like I know what that beach bum, I know what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Not that I've ever experienced it myself, but like that's not foreign to me. And DA, as opposed to you, like you've grown up and been on the West Coast your whole life. So like you've never even seen that whole Miami thing. And you saying that reminded me of when I was talking about when I watched Lighthouse and how it basically, for somebody who either is really into film or really into sailing or lighthouses, whatever like that, they'll watch that movie completely intrigued because they identify with what they're seeing. When you're watching Beach Bum, you have to really put on your filmmaker glasses and be like, yo, let me just judge this for what it is, because unless you know that life or been around it, you're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And even me being around it, I still don't necessarily get it. But when I seen the type of person he was, it wasn't far-fetched for me. So I wasn't even hung up on that. You know what I'm saying? So when I thought things were negative, it was, for me, with this particular movie, more or less performances. Like Jonah Hill was garbage in this movie. He was
trash.
Black, bro.
Yeah, like I was like, and like you said, Chris, he had different moments, that the way he said something kind of made me giggle or whatever, but just his character, I was glad he wasn't in the movie that much. Like, I was just like, yo, this is bad.
For sure. For sure.
Like I said before, Snoop Dogg he could have just been Snoop. He could have just been himself, and, you know, and we wouldn't have judged him.
Yo,
he literally
side note, a good performance that surprised me, Zac Efron. I love that whole section of him.
Now, he was somebody who disappeared. Because the only reason why I was convinced it was him is because I know what he looks like. But I kept questioning it when he first got on stage. I was like, yo, is that Zac Efron? Like,
same. I'm like, is that Zac Efron? I had to Google it. I'm like, yo.
even with the cuts and the beard and whatever, and the way he had the hair and he's acting out, he was pretty convincing. I had never seen.
It was such a good character. He was listening to Creed. He's all he's on some like, dude, Jesus died for all, man. We can do whatever we want. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, we're good. But
there were a ton of great performances. But I do.
Yeah, you got to speak up. I be barely knowing when you even talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
Double mountain.
Not to speak up like this.
Yes.
No. I was saying that there were a ton of great performances in the movie, even from the wife as well. But
Word. She was
I would
good.
agree that Jonah Hill was awkward.
But the wife, I don't know her real name, but she's a good, because I remember her from Wedding Crashers. And she was pretty, she had that same type of character in there, like kind of funny, but, you know, I guess the woman, whatever. Say it again?
I said, really? Was that her?
Yeah, she was in Wedding Crashers. She was the one who Vince Vaughn ended up marrying or dating or something like that. Because the main person was Owen Wilson or whatever. He was going after the chick from The Notebook, which I forgot her real name, and then the girl who was in this movie played the younger sister, who was like pretending to be a virgin or something like that. Yeah, but she was a good actor. But I one thing I was gonna say is I also like the cameos. I like when Martin dropped by real quick and just kind of, you know, splash his little touch on there or whatever. Like they didn't.
Oh, I forgot about Martin.
Yeah, they had some good stars who, you know, kind of, even with Zac Efron, they had stars, you know, make little 5-10 minute cameos, but it was impactful. Like it was like, it almost made you feel like, yo, this person was in this whole movie, even though it was just, you know, that one part. So I did like that. I did finally get to finish it, Chris. And I will say this. I agree, it definitely was shot beautifully. I understood his life. I did not understand his journey. Like in reference to the movie. Like I understood his journey in reference to gotta write this book, whatever like that. But it was almost like after a while, I just was watching just different nice looking shots of him just living free somewhere else. Like now he's on Lingerie's boat. Now he's here. Now he's in this karaoke bar. Now it was just basically just him just going all over like a slideshow of like all his vacations. Like this is who I smoke crack with this day, and then, you know, crack with this day, and it just kept. And so like by the time it came to an end, I didn't necessarily feel like any type of roller coaster ride. Even for me, when the wife died, I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. But I knew like, okay, so that's supposed to just kick him into gear to go to do something. But I guess maybe even visually. But listen, I think maybe visually you don't get the same ride that they're trying to give you. Yeah. Dialogue. But
if you notice, literally every single place he goes and everything he does, there are shots of him on his typewriter. He's writing the entire time. He's living the journey of the writing. He's not just sitting in a room doing it.
But I'm saying, they not to cut you off yet. They keep going back to that, and I'm saying, like, I understood that it was supposed to be about she died. Now I got to write. Like that was clear. Right. But the sequence of events, you know what I'm saying? Outside of what you're saying, the sequence of events, like I said, you're just sitting back, and you're just watching this, or whatever. You're seeing that, okay, he's free. He wears women clothes because he doesn't care. He just does whatever, has sex with all these different women, whatever the case may be, and you get that about his character. But I think like at times just throughout the movie, I remember thinking like, let me pay attention again, because I don't even know what's going on, because I feel like I'm just watching the same events going on.
So that's the thing. A lot of people feel like the character doesn't have an arc, but the thing is, when he starts out the movie, the reason he can't write the book is because he's too comfortable. He's fucking living this rich, cushy lifestyle, right? He can't. Now listen, if he hadn't become homeless and lost everything when she died, he wouldn't have been able to write Beach Bum like that. he needed to go through that journey to write the book. Like it was very, very necessary.
Yeah, it's not that I don't think he had an arc. I mean, I noticed the arc, but I'm saying visually, it's not as captivating of what was happening. Like you identify with that character. So that's almost like, once again, going back to Lighthouse. If you were a white person who grew up, just say in the farmlands or whatever, if I showed you, just say black people rolling dice on the side of the building for money, whatever like that, you may not understand why they're doing that. You know what I'm saying? But because somebody else may be privy to that culture, they may get, oh, that's just what we do at a barbecue. Or we play spades, or we do the electric slide, or whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying is you identify with that character, so like it's quick for you to pick up on these different things. But as a viewer, you're thinking about the masses, you're thinking about somebody showing up and just watching this movie and understanding what this character is going through. I'm saying, to me, the redundancy, if that's even a word, of it being redundant made me even forget what was supposed to be happening next, because I felt like I was just literally watching different versions of the same scene.
This might be a stretch, but this character reminded me of Joker.
You said Joker?
Yep.
Why you say that?
Really?
Over again. I laugh, I get beat up. I laugh, I get beat up. I laugh, I get beat up. I laugh, I get beat up, and now I go crazy.
Right.
That's how I felt. I didn't think I love the performance. I love the character and the acting, but I felt like it was just repetitive.
Right, exactly.
I felt like the same thing that happened over and over again, and I kind of felt like in Beach Bum it was the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even when he wound up getting freed from rehab. Okay, so that was a little small break, and then now we're back to the same action all over and over again. You know?
Right.
I can't agree with that. I can't.
Well,
only
disagreement.
I can't agree with that only because I do agree with Chris, where we're actually seeing him basically going through the life journey. But with Joker, he was trying to, I guess, cope with everything that's going on around him. He's trying to find his dad. Then he find out that his mom is not his mom, and I mean,
he was like a polar opposite character to. I don't know, man. The Joker was like.
I can't agree with that.
But he's speaking to the redundancy of the story, like the character and all.
I got you. Like kind of the same thing repeating itself.
The way that they want the audience to understand who this character is and becoming, they literally show him having the same interactions but just in different scenes. So it'd almost be like if just a boxer fought in Arizona, then fought in California, then fought somewhere else. Like it almost be like I'm watching the same fight just in a different background or a different surrounding with a different person.
Yo, it's so funny. Now that you said that nigga Joker that was the sequence of the movie. Like fucking Bruce Wayne's dad whooped his ass. Everybody beat that nigga up. Nobody like
the repetitiveness of him getting beat up. It was so the first time he laughed, he got beat up and he got hit with the sign by the kids, right?
Yeah.
And then he got beat up again, and then he got beat up again, and then it was just this, and then he's like, I'm done, and now I'm gonna fight back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
That's all I meant. I know he had different dilemmas. I know that in Beach Bum he didn't have to deal with not knowing who his parent was. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying as far as storyline was the same. I'm just saying as far as the redundancy of the problem that he had, I felt like that was the same. Because in Beach Bum, his problem was I need to live the life to be able to write the book, right? So we kept seeing him in these situations of what a beach bum's lifestyle is. I'm just gonna have party, I'm gonna do drugs, I'm gonna have sex with women. I'm gonna party, I'm gonna do drugs, I'm gonna have sex with women. But while I'm doing this, I'm annotating it like a diary. He had if I'm wrong, Chris, you can tell me if I'm wrong, he had the typewriter with him, and every time he went and party, he annotated the parties. And he annotated the lifestyle of what it was to be a beach bum. To get high, to get drunk, to party, fuck. Get high, get
he
drunk.
needs that, man. He said, yo, he when he's doing this is also the message, and then we can kind of move on to the next movie. The big message he said is, he's like, yo, I love boats, I love the ocean, I love beautiful women, I love weed, I love beer, and when I do all these things that I love, like the shit starts like firing off, and the words just come out, and that's real shit. Like when I was in Miami and I was really living, that's when my best material came to me, man. I'm here in DC just kind of working a 9 to 5. And bro, the words aren't coming. It's like when you're doing what you love and following your bliss, just on every level, not just in the work path, but at every level, just makes everything just run smoother and just very, very zen. And that's kind of the message. Yeah, when you're happy, exactly. Happiness is the key to everything, man.
Yeah.
You could infer that because the beginning of the movie, he finds the white cat, which was basically free. And then at the end, he's still with the white cat after he burns all the money. He's still free. That the two are basically the same. They're both free, and they're going through the journey. Well, yeah, you couldn't.
Yeah, when he first meets the cat in the very first scene of the movie, you can see there's like a connection there. I think he even says something about it, like we're like the same. Like, and he's just hanging out with that cat for most of the fucking movie. So.
He's like, oh yeah, you don't belong to anybody. You're just sitting here by yourself, whatever. And then that's
right. Right.
We're both just out here.
Because if you look at the cat's MO, that's how a cat get down anyway. That's how a cat moves anyway. You know.
Right.
What a great way to tie the story together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
All right, cool. All right, so that's Beach Bum, starring Matthew McConaughey and Jonah. Directed by Who Cares? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Right.
So, all right. So now we got two more films. Let's I'm gonna save the anime one for last. Let's go to the other guys, starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Word.
So Chris, we'll let you pop this one off. What'd you think about the other guys?
This movie's been a guilty pleasure of mine since it came out, bro. Like, I fucking love this movie. Yo, fucking aim for the bushes. Aim for the bush. Like, I used to quote this movie all the time, bro. Like,
what bushes were they aiming at?
Right, like, it was hilarious. You looked out, there was literally no shrubbery at all. There wasn't even grass. The thing that was so hilarious to me about this movie, too, because it surprised the shit out of me. First of all, I went into this movie the best way, which I went in blind. I didn't know anything. Right. I didn't even know who starred in this fucking movie. Right. So honestly, I literally turned this movie on and thought it was about The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. So when they fell off the building and died, I was like, yo, what? That shit was hilarious. This movie has mad shit going for it. First of all, it's a buddy cop movie, which that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love buddy cop movies, bro. I love Rush Hour. I'm a buddy cop guy, bro. Sure. When it comes to Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, they had this really, really surprising amount of chemistry, bro. For sure. There's definitely like a yin and yang thing going on here. And a lot of times they'll try to force that. Even if the two actors are good, it won't work. Like Get Hard with Chris Rock, with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. Decent idea and premise, but the chemistry wasn't there and the script sucked. This script is actually funny. And these motherfuckers are funny together. Like, dog, those flashbacks of him being a pimp. He's like, I looked in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw. This thing had a grill and your bucket hat on. I was like, yo, what the fuck? He starts reverting back into Gator at the dinner table. He's like, you ain't gonna play no shit. It ain't never played no shit. It ain't never been about playing no shit. I'm like, yo.
Whose baby is that?
Gator was funny, man.
Hey, this bitch better be used. Jimmy's.
That shit was hilarious, bro. Like, there's just so many funny quotes to the movie, like, and then also what they did, they definitely let Will Ferrell do his thing with the improv, and he is just the king of just coming up with funny lines off the top of his fucking head, bro. Like, funny shit that's just dumb but funny. Like, the cucumber complements the water in such a way. Like, yo, shut the fuck up about that water. But this movie was funny as shit. The action was decent. Like, actually, I love that shot of Mark Wahlberg sliding across the table, shooting on both sides. He didn't hit anyone, but that shit was lit. It was dope. All in all, a fun ass movie, very funny. I'll give this movie like a solid A. I fuck with it.
Dope. What you think, DA?
I thought the movie did a great job of taking something important and kind of telling the audience it in a funny way. Kind of like our movie last week, Big Shorts, where they
What? Hold
Big
on.
Short. He's my Big Shorts.
I thought he said Dick Schwartz. I'm like, what?
No, I said Big Shorts. I didn't say that. I thought I said Big Shorts. All right.
Big Short. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not Big Shorts like a pair of pants. It's the Big Short.
Yeah, the Big Short.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just because I added an extra S. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that changes everything. That makes it close.
That
changes everything.
That sounds like a comedy. Like.
Anywho, they took an important topic and basically gave it to the audience in a comedic way, and it's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. All the embezzlement that was going on at the time. If you watch the end credits, they were showing you basically all the pyramid schemes and then how the government bailed out a bunch of people and whatnot. The shit was crazy, but they gave it to us in an entertaining way. And I thought that was a brilliant way, and they did it very, very well, obviously.
Gotcha. All right, what you got for us, King? What you thought about?
Hilarious, honestly, I love the opposites of the acting of the characters. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got the one that's a straight shooter, no bullshit, alpha male, and then you got Will Ferrell with his multiple personalities. You know what I'm saying? So I think that combination is what made the movie so fun to watch. It was entertaining or whatever else. And I did like the message at the end where they educated the audience at the end, just showing other embezzlements as well. So I thought that was really genius in how they structured it in a way where you laugh through the whole movie, and then they punch you dead in the face with these are facts. And I was just like, damn, because I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? I was just enjoying, like you said, the good buddy cop movie, the back and forth between the two different personalities. And when my nigga Gator came out, and Gator don't play that shit. I thought Gator was bad. Will Ferrell. His work ethic, his craft, his acting, his improv, just everything, bro. Yeah. I love watching him on screen. You know what I mean? And so, I thought the movie was fire.
So, what you was going to say, DA?
I was going to say, King sounds just like Ice-T as the narrator.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Random.
I didn't even realize that was Ice-T. Like I remember hearing the narrator, but I didn't even pick up on it. Honestly, I didn't even pay that much attention.
I didn't pay attention until he said it.
Oh my gosh! Then you guys didn't enjoy the movie, really?
I mean, well, me personally, my take on it, I definitely thought it was fun. I didn't. This is my first time seeing it, and the same thing that you said, Chris. I went into it blind. I did know that Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg presented because I clicked on it on Netflix and seen their picture up there. But even still, when it came on and Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock was on there, I was just like, why the fuck wasn't they on the front cover? Like this is obviously dealing with them. So, but even past that, I didn't realize that it was supposed to be like a goofy satire, like over dramatic. Cause like that opening scene, I was just like, yo, like I get this is supposed to be like some stunts, but this shit look fake. Like this don't even.
It was hilarious.
Look real. Like this is not even.
It was 100%. Like the first part is super satire. They're like, they killed. First of all, they killed everyone. The defendants.
Why am I on top of this car? Why am I on? I
don't know. The reporter's like, the defendants only had a small amount of marijuana, but that really worth $12 million in damages. It's like, why don't we ask New York City, the greatest nation on earth?
But see, my whole thing is like it was not only even just when they were in the car, the green screen behind Samuel L. Jackson looked fake, but then they end this whole car chase with Samuel L. Jackson being in the fire of the explosion. Like he drove and caused the explosion, and then he's at the press conference. Yeah, man, you know. And I'm just like, but I eventually I was like, okay, this is supposed to be that type of movie because I knew it was going to have comedy because of Will Ferrell. I just didn't realize they were going there with it. So then, by the time they even got to the whole aim for the bushes, I didn't know they were going to die, but I did know I knew it had nothing to do with Bush. I knew they was gonna either land on their feet, something weird. Like I knew it was gonna be whatever. But so when they end up dying, then obviously that made me realize, okay, this is where the other guys pick up. You know, in reference.
Did you bust out laughing as hard as I did when they died? Because I couldn't stop laughing.
I don't know if I laughed that hard, but it was definitely funny, and I think The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson was good for that part. Because Samuel L. Jackson, you know, he has that real aggression when he talks, and The Rock is a big motherfucker, you know. It was kind of weird seeing The Rock even with that kind of hair. You know, he's kind of more bald.
Yeah.
But
I thought everybody was good in the movie. Like, even, the British guy, like I'm saying, the script was funny because, I love how the British guy kept trying to give him tickets. They were, like, grabbing him and trying to put him in that. He's like, I'm going to take it to some random group. He's like, well, I know, that doesn't even sound appealing to me, but I'm not mad at tickets.
But I will say this just to be a slightly devil's advocate. The one negative that I did have about the movie, maybe it was just me, I did feel like it was probably 15 minutes longer than it needed. Like I don't think almost 2 hours was needed in that whole fucking movie. Like it was like, and don't get me wrong, it was entertaining for the whole 2 hours. But I still remember looking at the clock like, yo, how much longer this shit got? Like this has been on for a minute.
Yeah.
And they don't know,
for sure, they could have cut it down.
Like this,
they could have cut it down
for a minute. So that would be my only takeaway. But other than that, I thought the movie was funny.
It was funny when Martin on the boat.
Say it again.
Yeah, the dolphins are over there fucking. The dolphins are fucking. They might be having an orgy out here.
Right.
Yo, go ahead. That shit was funny as shit.
And it was like, I don't think those are dolphins. That
was Beach Bum. Yeah. That was
you're talking about Martin Lawrence from Beach Bum.
Oh yeah. My bad.
That was a funny ass scene, bro. Like it was getting bad. You're like, those are sharks.
that was Beach Bum.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Martin was dope in there, but yeah, like I said, other than the length, I thought it was dope. So I don't know if anybody else got anything else for the other guys, but it's on you.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say just to piggyback on what you said. Even with length, yeah, I agree they could have edited it down a little bit because even for some of the bits that like landed, they would go a little too far with the bit, almost in a Key and Peele sense, where it's like, okay, we get it. Like even the whole bad cop thing, I thought went on a little too far and just wasn't really that funny to me. But it is.
I was laughing at the bad cop.
It was funny what he did because like when he attacked, like when Mark Wahlberg attacked and then he came and attacked, that shit was funny as hell.
That was funny. I was crying on that shit.
Yeah, that shit was funny as hell. But I do agree that honestly, I thought they were gonna say like Will Ferrell thought he was supposed to be the bad cop while he was the good cop, but when they made it bad cop, that was kind of cheesy. But I just thought he got confused on like I'm gonna go in first as the the good cop, and then you come in as the bad. I thought he was gonna get confused with that, but he just thought both of them were supposed to beat his ass. But that scene was funny nonetheless, though.
I thought it was funny when he had all the hot ass chicks looking at him or whatever else. When he kept going by, he's like, "Man, what the fuck are you doing?"
Right.
Yeah, it's like like hot chicks wanted him the whole movie. It was hilarious.
He's like, yo, don't mind my wife's a total bitch. She's like the nicest person in the world.
Right. He's like, yeah. Yo, hold on. First of all, before we move on, that was hilarious. Like, first of all, ISA used a lot of improv in the movie. And I guess they just said the direction to him was just like, look, just be like the angry cop at dinner. Like the case is stressing you out and you take it out on your wife. His version of that was hilarious. It's like, yeah, I mean, did you like slow roast a dog's ass? I was like, who would slow roast a dog's asshole? But here we go. That's you. You would. You would.
I don't know if with fucking Mark when he goes and they're saying goodbye, and then he kisses the wife. He starts trying to kiss her all on her neck and shit. He's like, oh.
Mark Wahlberg could not believe that was his wife. He was like, yo,
so confused. He's like, I have to be able to steal her away. There's no way.
He kept saying bye, but he kept saying bye to the wife. And
He's like, I don't think he heard me. Bye.
They had a ton of little nuggets in there, like the fact that Mark Wahlberg was basically was able to dance ballet for his wife or his ex-wife. I mean, I thought that the movie did a great job of putting little nuggets in there to keep it entertaining and keep it fresh.
Right.
The ballet with the stripper pole, the poles go sideways. They don't even go up and down.
right.
Yeah. The movie was very much a deconstruction of like cop movies. So it was like they had Will Ferrell getting bitches, Mark Wahlberg's doing ballet. It's like they tried to flip everything.
He shot Derek Jeter. It's like, it's like
yeah, yo. Speaking about Mark Wahlberg being a straight shooter in the film,
he shot Derek Jeter. It was over dramatic, but definitely in a good way. Almost like watching a buddy cop version of like a scary movie, like the Wayne's Brothers scary movie, like Scary Movie 2, whatever, like that over exaggerated, but like it was that was dope. That was dope. All right, so let's wrap it up with our last film. I just pronounce it motherfuckers. I don't really know what the motherfuckers, MFKZ, whatever, but it's anime flick on Netflix. I'm not that familiar with anime besides watching Pokemon back in the day. So this was a not brand new but fairly new experience for me. So yeah, I have thoughts about it, but I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. So King, you can go ahead and start this one off, man. What'd you think about that film? That was actually something that our last guest actually suggested.
Here's the thing about anime. I love the camera movements that they have, bro. I love how it's shot. You know what I mean? I love where certain parts where you see them panning right, and then all of a sudden you're entering the body, and then they show the heartbeat and whatever else. For me as a director, I like to steal camera movements from anime because you really don't get to see these type of movements in regular film.
For sure.
Even though I know it's a cartoon or whatever else, I would like to try to apply some of the different type of cuts or the different type of angles or the different type of things they do from animation to add that to the film. And I think that's something like The Matrix probably stole like bullet time stuff from. Whatever, when they were doing that type of stuff. So that's one thing that I love about anime. They had like nice little gems in there when he sees the new girl come in or whatever else.
Yeah, that
was like, stop thinking with your dick. I think every guy's probably been there before where he gets distracted from his goal or whatever he wants to do because he's so busy looking at the chick or whatever else.
Right.
So I thought that was cool. I thought they had like nice little nuggets in the film. I fucked with it.
Nope. Okay. What about you, DA?
I really enjoyed the movie as well. It was weird to watch because I was trying to truly understand what the movie was about. But as far as from watching it the first time, I can only watch it to be entertained. So I will have to go back and watch it again to infer anything. But I did enjoy. Like all animes, I think the action scenes are very fun and entertaining. It was weird that this kid who didn't know how to do anything, who was basically a nobody, just randomly knew how to start fighting. I thought that was weird. I thought it should have came in a different fashion where maybe he learned somehow or it slowly came to him, but it was just like instantly I know how to kick ass. So I thought that was the weirdest part about it. But I enjoyed it.
You didn't know he had two personalities or two personalities where his eyes changed or whatever else?
Like I said, I totally get it. I just think it should have came. It shouldn't have been a snap. I think it should have came a little slower for him to
more of a build up.
Yeah, because it was just, oh, we're getting attacked. Oh, all right, let's be ninjas. He literally said, "Let's be ninjas." Ran away and then instantly started fighting before his eyes changed, and then his eyes changed and he became like a super ninja. And I just felt like there should have been a moment where he should have maybe, you know how when superheroes get their superpowers, when Spider-Man when he flings the web, he's like looking at his hand like, oh my gosh, I have powers. That moment was missing from the movie. I felt like it was just like, let's just get into gear.
You didn't catch the subliminal of when they were talking about people's spirits, and when he was looking at the shadows, like you could see a person up front, but you never know who they really are, and then the spirit behind the person was like their shadow, the representation of the alien.
I'm telling you, I totally got it. I'm just telling you how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I just felt like instead of like I said, he could have been a badass, but it shouldn't have come so naturally to him. It should have been I can dodge a bullet. What? I'm able to do this. All right. Then he starts kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
Cause then, I don't know. Cause then after seeing all the aliens and whatnot, and then realizing that he can do stuff, then it would have been like, all right, I know that I have to get away from these people who are chasing me. But that's, like I said, that's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
That's dope.
All right, what you got, Chris?
Can I go last? Because I'm just finishing up this blunt, if you don't mind.
Oh no, you can just go now. that would be great.
So, anyways, this movie was good. It was a good anime. Very, very different. I like the perspective of the anime because it definitely came from a perspective of just like living in the hood, like, and into an exaggerated form, like almost like an artistically exaggerated form with the roaches running amok.
Right.
Everywhere you go, gang members is on bikes trying to stare you down. There's literally everyone's in the gang, like very, very California, because like it took place in quote New California or whatever. The main character, turns out he's like this hybrid race, the superior race of people, and the girl that he saw she's also part of that race, and it's awakening this part in him that he doesn't know about. And I like the way that they tried to explain basically why a lot of people live in poverty and misery, and why the powers that be are doing all these things that seem to keep us in this constant state of negative mind and negative energy. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then I love like the movie subverts your expectations a lot. Like a lot, I love how like the one gang member was fucking quoting Shakespeare and like all. Yeah, it was weird. Like, and then all the gang members were like the good guys. Like they were like good dudes. Like they're trying to protect the young ones. Like nah, get out of here. Like so it was very, very dope in that aspect where it kind of gave you a different look and a different perspective or viewpoint on the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The action, like you said, was amazing. I love anime action because they do seem to do like this handheld camera thing. And unlike handheld camera in real life, they can do it very precise and very calculated. And it's dope. I've seen shit like that in like Cowboy Bebop and like a lot of other really good animes. So that was dope as well. Yeah, overall for me, it was a pretty solid movie. I didn't fully understand it, and there were some convoluted parts. And it almost like the movie kind of even acknowledged the fact that like you have no idea what the fuck is going on because the main characters don't. But it still didn't make it any less like, come on, man, give me something. Like, what's happening? Right. Anyways, that's my take.
Hey, Chris, have you seen Naruto? Have you watched the anime Naruto?
No, I have not. I'm not. I never really got into Naruto.
Oh, okay, never mind that.
Yeah. So for me, I'm actually going to start with the one, if you will, call it a negative. For me, and granted, I get it. I'm sure it happened because it's anime. I was low key getting aggravated with the random pop-ups of who are the men in the black suits? Like, what will they do next? Like, I felt like I was watching Scooby-Doo or some shit. Like, and I like once again, like I accept it because it's anime. That's the world. Whatever. Like, I get it. Like,
they don't even do that in animes. That was more a callback to like old ass like 1950s.
Because to me, if it would have been done and it would have been kind of like cute and entertaining, like, oh, look what they did, ha. But like, I was just like, yo, what? Get this shit out of here! Like, why is this even popping up right now?
Right.
But outside of that, I definitely, when I was watching the entire time, I was kind of thinking of what you was thinking, Chris. Like, for one, definitely knew it was in the hood. Definitely had a very Grand Theft Auto, vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fucking shooting in this movie.
Right.
They was busting.
They was knocking niggas' heads off.
Yeah. They was shooting in that motherfucker.
The violence was crazy.
I thought visually, and I agree with you too, King. Like one reason why I never never thought about necessarily doing anime, but I did want to make a film, just say dealing with animation, at least one, because of those camera angles and the stuff that you see on anime that you don't see with live action films. You just,
Right.
I don't know if it's because it's
Right.
impossible. I don't know. But
Right.
I'd be like, yo, that's a dope ass shot for somebody to have drawn that or whatever the fuck they did to get it.
Angles,
like,
bro.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So so I definitely thought that was dope. Going to something that you said, DA, in reference to his whole build up. I'm not an anime expert. I don't dig deep into this shit. What I kind of took from it, and I'm gonna go back to what I was about to tell you, Chris, about, or say in reference to you, Chris, about the hood. I'm not an anime expert, but I do think that he had some sort of a build up in the sense of, because his powers or whatever that happened, like he was who he was as a child, which is why they was trying to get him as a child. Like, so he was born the way that he was. As opposed to a Spider-Man and certain other people, like they got bit. Oh shit! Spider-Man had to even get used to having muscles, let alone webs coming out out his wrist. Like, he wasn't used to none of this. He was just like, yo, what is, whatever. So for him, I don't even think. I think when it kicked into gear, I don't even think it was about him learning it. I think it just flips. It's almost like somebody who got a bad attitude, who a hothead. Like they don't even remember beating your ass. They just did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't remember why we was arguing or whatever. They just, and then they look up and they be apologizing. I'm sorry, you be bloody and shit. Like, I got friends like that who, I'm trying to stop them from fighting all the time. They just mad about the simplest stuff, but they don't realize. And so I think he kind of had that same thing. But going back to when Chris was talking about just all the hood stuff, the entire film, I was trying to figure out, like, is this dude black? You know what I'm saying? Because he's the one black, figure, whatever. They're in the hood. He got, they got the roaches. And I'm just like, yo, like, I understand that, his mom is, I guess, supposed to be Caucasian or whatever like that, but I don't think they showing the daddy, because, like, or they, I know I guess they did show him towards the end or whatever. This dude he's a nigga. Like, this dude is black. You know what I'm saying? Or at least Hispanic. He's colored, some form of fashion. Like, and I think that was supposed to have something to do with it, even with, because their antagonists or counterparts, if you will, were the government / police, whatever, which is, black people problems, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and them, the whole hood fighting against the police and shootouts, whatever like that. And granted, the police wasn't a representation of just coming and, oh, this black people hanging out, let's arrest them. Like, they was going over there, killing whatever, trying to accomplish a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm assuming it was created by, somebody of Asian descent or whatever the case may be. I don't know, but I felt like Spike Lee may have made a phone call or two to implement some things in this film, because it had
a lot of hood aspects in it, though.
Yeah, it was definitely some nigga shit going on for sure, that I was related with more than I thought I would with anime. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm talking about? That nigga who the gangster who was quoting Shakespeare. Don't nobody want to hear that bullshit to read.
Right. Yeah. And he was like the biggest gangsters nigga out there. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Like,
man, he got shot in the face and survived. That nigga was a G.
Right.
Hardcore.
Hey, speaking of people getting shot and survived, which I know this was 4 or 3 movies ago that we talked about. How did John Henry not die when he got shot, when he was walking towards Ludacris? He was just fire. And then this get up, grab the sledgehammer with one hand, and he just back to normal strength. I'm like, yo, this is a lot.
Hey, he grabbed the sledgehammer and did the Van Damme shake.
Right. I'm just like, yo, this is a lot. I don't know how he lived through that, but whatever. Then he died.
What happened to the blood? What happened to the bullet hole? What happened to
Right, he got shot in the head and shit. Like,
he's John Henry. That doesn't count.
Right.
He got grandma talking like an old Negro spiritual. I know what that boy been doing ever since.
Right. Ever since he came in.
Oh yeah. The movie was low key racist as fuck.
Yeah, man. Those were good films though. Those good to watch, especially as far as dialogue. They sparked good conversation. Shout out everybody who made those films. You was a part of it, whether you was the dolly grip or the main actor, the executive producer. Hey, congrats, y'all got it done. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get.
I fuck with you, bro.
Say it again. Oh, Terry Crews. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get my first feature out there. Shit, really, all of us is. So, you know, we still out here, you know, ready to get our film shitted on one day. So, you know.
Yeah, because, you know, they're going to tear our films apart, too. I seen you left that light stand in the back.
Right. So, you know, so that'll be that, you know. But yeah, man, that's been another episode, man. King, man, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Thank you for having your boy on, man. Hope it ain't the last time, you know.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you shot it out at the beginning, but go ahead and give like your Instagrams or websites or whatever you got.
Oh, for sure. You can find me on Instagram at King Jaquell Martin. That's KingJaquell Martin, Martin. And if you want to check out my book, I got a website called A War on Friendly Grounds. You'll find the book. You'll find the trailer for the film on YouTube. And, you know, hey, we're just looking to make change together, man. So that's why I'm glad I'm with these 3 talented brothers, man. And we just want to continue making this content for you guys, you know. So appreciate y'all for having me go on.
Dope, man. So y'all check out the book, man. Y'all go grab it. Y'all follow him. We got at D_A_Henry and Chris G Comedy. I'm Willy Nilly, if you nasty on social media. This is another episode of Dumbass Film Students. What?
Are we going to pick the film?
Well, we're not, because we're gonna choose them with the next person. So there's no point of us putting that at the end of the film.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, Rudy. Did you have a guest for the next one?
Can I complete my outro? Like, what the fuck is this? Y'all talking to me?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I didn't know we weren't doing the movies. I was confused.
Yeah.
Commercial break, lady.
Right. Like, God damn. Thank God for editing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we got editing, man. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
action.
Like I said, this is another episode of Dumbass Film Students, including 2 dumbass hosts. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, man, we here every week. Y'all check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to No Life Boys Production, and that's boys with a BOYZZZ. We out, bitches.
All right.